Well, there's no doubt that Marina's story is really heartwarming, but can it all be really true? Well, to find out, we have a few more stories of feral human children who were raised by animals. Their stories speak for themselves. In a world filled with miracles, these are the children raised by animals. The lore of feral children. The word feral means wild or undomesticated. It brings to our mind the myth of Romulus, the founder of Rome, and his twin brother Remus, who were raised by a wolf, or that of Tarzan, who lived among wolves in the wild. Often, feral children have posed a haunting question of what it is to be human.
One of the central questions in all of science that has to do with humans is, are we a product of our genes or are we a product of our experience? The old nature-nurture issue.
Feral children tap into this because they are the natural experiment that we're not allowed to carry out. They are the children who go through extraordinary circumstances, which no one could naturally create.
But the fascination, I think, actually originates in these sort of primal ideas about the difference between humans and animals.
Part of being a human is being brought up by humans. If you're not brought up by humans, are you completely human? And I think in some of these cases, that's the issue that we're dealing with.
One of the most extraordinary cases that has come to light in Ukraine is of Oksana Malia, born in November 1983. But how did Oksana become more like a dog than a human being? Her parents were alcoholics, and one night, too drunk to care, they left Oksana outside. Looking for warmth, the 3-year-old crawled into the farm kennel, crawled up with the mongrel dog that probably saved her life, while her dog helped her to survive. Her time in the kennel had awful consequences. For the next 5 years, she would spend her life living as a dog. When she was institutionalized, she could barely speak. She is more like a dog than a human being. Truly, the poor state of Oksana might seem to be a rarity, the product of alcoholism and poverty, but incredibly not. Throughout history, children have been abandoned by their parents. Of them, most die quickly, but some, we mean the survivors, have resorted to extreme means to stay alive. How they have survived and who they have become has indeed become a heated debate among scientists. Understanding them has become a slow and difficult problem.
Very, very good clinicians and researchers have, with the tools that they had in their day and age, they've tried to understand what happened. But because it's such a complex set of phenomenon, our understanding has been limited, and it's incrementally, from generation to generation to generation, we've had better tools to better understand what happens to these children.
Let us show you another feral child who is still haunted by his life of the past. The chicken boy. The boy from Fiji was supposedly raised by chickens. The people who care for Sujit Kumar call him a boy even though he is now 32. The Fijian has never learned to speak and is only just learning to behave like a human. The The reason they claim behind his bizarre behavior is that he spent his childhood locked in a chicken coop. Sujit lived in a chicken coop for so long that he started to behave just like them and would lash out when people tried to touch him or even come close to him. He was found on the streets and brought to this home where he grew up to become a man. What is extraordinary is that even now he is not completely rehabilitated. Sujit's feral behavior is deeply engraved. Although Sujit was fed and cleaned very informatively, no doctors or any kind of specialist, so his bird-like behavior remained. The bird boy is now a fully grown birdman. The Mowgli of Uganda. The boy, now known as the Monkey Boy of Uganda until he was discovered, was supposedly raised by monkeys. A man named Benedict found him. Benedict claims he was trying to drive away the monkeys in an attempt to protect the child. When he got closer to the child, he was taken aback. He didn't look anything like a human being. His face was completely covered by hair. His wife believed it was a monster. Benedict had no idea who the child was, but it was clear if the child was left back, he wouldn't survive. The boy was rescued and transferred to a school meant for traumatized children, but no one was prepared for the wild child that arrived. When he arrived, he was around 7 years old, skinny, clueless about what to do in a domesticated world. People said he was just like a monkey who had all characteristics, looking scared and distant. He preferred squatting to standing. He couldn't speak human language, and when he wanted food, he would just scream or use gestures to ask for food. The other children in the school, though curious, were scared of him. Even teachers were scared of the little boy. Controlling him wasn't easy. His teachers say bathing the little child was the biggest problem. When water was poured on him, he would scream like a wild animal. It took up to 3 adults to try and bathe him. The boy was eventually rehabilitated, but they say he never recovered completely. These occurrences are indeed rare. When subjected to extreme conditions, human beings do their best to survive, and it is wrong to see these feral children simply as hopeless. Faced with almost unimaginable situations, they come up with the best strategies to survive. For the last 200 years, science is trying to make peace with these unique human beings who are the living testimony. Human beings are the ultimate survivors. A News9 report.